Good morning, everyone. This is Chris Mayfield here at the Fusion Hub. I am the founder and owner of Fusion Consulting right here in Richmond, Virginia. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Fusion Hub, what we do here is we kind of mix business, community, and society all in one big ugly mashup, and then we kind of tease it out to make sense for us. So as you are all aware, we always have the best and brightest guests, and today is no exception. And I would like to introduce the world, and I say that jokingly, our small Richmond world, to Blaire Brown. Blaire, good morning.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be part of this mashup today.
Yeah, well, hey, welcome aboard. It's like the crazy train, you know.
I love it. I'm here for it.
You get on, you can never get off. So Blaire, why don't you start out with tell us a little bit about your business and what you do and who you impact, and we'll go from there.
All right, no problem. Well, thank you for having me today. I am the founder and brand strategist behind Visionary Advantages Brand Strategy Group. And what we do is we help businesses position themselves strategically in front of their ideal audiences through marketing and branding strategies. So if you need a little marketing or branding upgrade, that's where we come in. It's a lot of fun. We work with businesses that are passionate about what they're doing all across the country. And then we also work with the DIY entrepreneur, the entrepreneur who needs a little help, but also they sometimes might want to do it themselves, but they need a little guide. So we help both businesses on that end and then also the entrepreneurs.
That's awesome. One of the things that you said that kind of piqued my interest is target audience, being in front of your target audience. How does that materially and philosophically, I guess, what does it mean to be in front of your target audience? And how do you decide what your target audience is?
Sure. Now, first off, whenever you're starting your business, you have to decide, what are you selling? Do you want to sell, how are you positioning your brand? Are you a high-end brand? Are you in the middle? Are you in, economy? How are you positioning yourself? And that all goes into the business mix. And you have to create a game plan. So that's how you have to start out your game plan is, okay, what are you actually positioning yourself as? How can you support those efforts with your product or service? And who do you want to reach? Because you have to have somebody buying it, right? So it's all about getting
it's helpful.
It might be helpful. I don't know. You might be putting all these hours of work. You're starting this dream business, right? And then you see a moth fly out of your bank account, and you don't want that to happen forever. It might happen at first, but it takes a little time to build that up. But the key is figuring out who they are, and then, putting yourself in front of them strategically. And to do that, you have to be able to market yourself, set up a beautiful branding presence. How do you want to speak to your audience? All of those things involve strategy. You can't just, wake up, roll out of bed, hope that your website gets in front of the right people. 78% of people never scroll past the first page of Google. So you got to figure out, how can I even get my website on the first page of Google or whatever search engine you need to be on. So it's a lot of strategy, and you have to do the groundwork by market research and whatnot to figure out who your audience is.
So if I'm let's say a consulting business, boom, which I am.
Oh yeah. And spoiler.
And I want to make sure that I am identifying my target customer properly, or my target client properly. And you mentioned kind of the three-ish levels: high end, medium, and economy pricing, if you will, right? Because you're assuming that it's based on price sensitivity, because everybody wants the Cadillac, right? But if you can only afford the Pinto, then that's what, or your clients are kind of Pinto buyers. How do we, how would you suggest, or what would you think about to enter the market in a price range that is best for your target client?
I would definitely do market research first and foremost. And you can do market research in so many ways by, hopping on calls with people. You have to do some lead generation where, you could have somebody go in the background and find people that you think are potential leads and then filter them out based on, what are their likes and wants? Why would they want your product? It's really problem solving around that. Like, who are you helping? What is your product or service solving? What problem are they solving? So if you find a list of those people and you find out how you can get them on a call or fill out a survey in a certain way, it's really important to do that. And then have them write their responses or have them respond to you on camera and pick out the words that they're saying. Use their phrases because that means you're going to be finding out really what they want because they're not going to be using the whatever terminology you're using for your business. You're probably going to be more technical about it because that's your area of expertise, right? As a business owner, that's your bread and butter. It's easy to you because you are the boss. But if you're solving the solution for these people, it's not going to be the same to them, right? They're going to be like, oh, yeah, I just, need this to save me some time. And you're like, oh, that's how you're wording it. Whereas I had this whole technical spiel, right?
Right.
But if you get to the ground root of like, okay, this saves some time. That's what's valuable to them. This is how I'm going to position my marketing, etc. So market research calls are so key to get those keywords, what's actually your problem is solving versus your technical piece of things, right? It's making that connection. Tech, what they're saying, let's meet them where they're saying, because whenever you start the marketing and branding process, you want your product to so clearly talk to them that it's just a no-brainer. They're like, wow, this person really understands what problem I'm having. Done. I would love to buy that so that way it solves my life's problems, right?
Yep.
Because we solve all their problems.
That's right. One-stop shop. Everything
Yeah.
to everything to everybody. So
Yeah.
I will tell you. So I'll share an experience. Whenever I started my consulting business, I went on LinkedIn and I said, "Hey, I want to talk to people who have either used leadership consulting in the past or are considering using leadership consulting in the near future." And I scheduled 30-minute interviews with about 50 people, and
Mhm.
I recorded those conversations. I had 10 questions that I asked
Mhm.
every person that volunteered. I recorded those, took that voice recording, dumped it into a program that turns voice to text,
Mhm.
and then used that authentic language that you were talking about
Mhm.
to start developing my content
Mhm.
and start developing my ads. So
Mhm.
including my landing page language, all of that was based on the authentic language of potential clients who I
Mhm.
knew were uh, in the market for what I offered.
Mhm.
But it also helped me shape how and when I offer those things
Mhm.
by using the correct strategic questioning. So your point is very valid in the market research in that having an authentic voice and connecting with potential clients upfront and using the language they understand and they expect to hear and having pricing that they expect to pay will save you so much time and frustration.
So much time. It's like, it's funny because whenever you're building this business, I think you just get so in it and that you're just like,
Hmm.
they just want my product, right? Like, this is great. I'm excited about it. But then if you just ask, it really, that's all you have to do. And then, I do the same thing. I'll record them and I listen back and I'm like, wow, like it's just amazing how much you can get out of a 15-minute to 30-minute call. Um,
Hmm.
just ask.
The other thing that I found useful about this approach, and I'm sorry to keep going back to this, is
No, I love it.
I interviewed about 50 people
Mhm,
before I went to market, and today I am probably have out of that 50, I probably have 40 good solid allies, right? So if I run into a problem, it's nothing for me to send them an email and say, "Hey, I have a question. I'd like to follow up on this discussion we had on this day. Do you have 15 minutes that you can spare to talk to me?" And those people
mhm.
almost always say, "Yep, let's do it. happy to help,
Yeah.
right? And so all these questions that entrepreneurs struggle with answering for themselves, there's no need to be in business by yourself. You
Yeah.
have all these people that want to help you.
Hmm.
And so having, but it all starts with that good, authentic conversation. And as your business changes, also that's a good place to go back to and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think about that? And
Yeah.
they always, most of the time, are happy to help.
I can totally agree with you on that because on my experience as well, I got a lot of friendships, like entrepreneur friendships out of it because it wasn't a call to sell anything. It was truly just to get to the bottom of their pain point with their business, right? So then you have friendships out of it. You have an entire community and network you're growing of people that you can just simply reach out to after that. And, you know, I love that about the business owner community is I find that more often than not, people are all about helping each other out rather than competing all the time. Like, of
Hmm.
course, there's competition, but like when you go in with that mindset of community and helping, because we've all been there where you're Googling, how do you set up an LLC? Or, how the heck do I find these people for market research? And then if you could just call or email one of those people, they'll be like, I experienced that too. Let me help you out. I think it's a
Hmm.
really cool community.
Yeah, it's and it's kind of a, not a crutch, but it kind of gives you a sense that this is doable. I'm not in this on my own. So it gives
Yeah.
you a little bit of confidence in
Oh,
your
million
ability to
percent.
make things happen. Yeah, so that is amazing. So for our listeners out there who are clearly and obviously enthralled by this conversation, how would we get in touch with you, Blaire?
All right. Well, you can find me on visionaryadvantages.com and you can find all the links there, all my social media handles at Business by Blaire Brown is my social media handles. And I also just launched a podcast called Curate Your Success Podcast. So you can listen to me on there as well.
Oh, podcasting. Everybody loves a good podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited. It is so much fun being able to talk to other entrepreneurs on there.
And what is going to be the theme of your podcast, or what are the discussions going to look like on that podcast, or sound like? I guess not look like.
Yeah, hey, look like as well. We're gonna be on YouTube. I mean, that's the next
Okay,
step,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, tune into the YouTube later. So basically, I'm going to be interviewing all kinds of entrepreneurs on there that are out there making things happen and, learn about their entrepreneur journey, how they got to be where they are, and also take away some tangible advice that you can put into place for your business if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, you're a new one, or you're just a business leader who needs a little motivation to keep going. So I'm talking to them about that, and I'm really excited about it. I've already talked to a huge cast of great people, and also, lastly, I'm also going to be doing some solo shows as well with just really how-to advice whenever it comes to entrepreneurship.
That's awesome. I can't wait to get it. Where is
And
your?
you're going to be on it too, so that's
I
exciting.
Yeah, yeah. I will be. I am waiting with hat in hand to be a guest on your podcast.
It's going to be
Uh,
great.
I I've enjoyed this conversation so much, so why wouldn't it be great? So I have another branding marketing question
Sure.
that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, at least a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to, uh, often ask is, when do I make the decision or to either you do just organic ads and marketing versus paid? Is there a tipping point? When should I do each of those, and should I do paid at all? So
That's
I'd
a
like to
great
hear your
question.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, what I recommend is make sure that you're one, based on all this market research we've talked about, make sure that it's actually something that people want, your product or service, and that you're getting, a little action going on. You're making some money, right? Your messaging seems to be working, you're targeting the right people, etc. Then that's when you would consider doing Google Ads. But I guess before that, I think I'm going too fast ahead. Make sure your website's optimized. Make sure that your site looks great, that you have some SEO going on in the background. And if you don't know what SEO is, it's search engine optimization. And essentially what it does is your site is basically becoming Google's best friend. So we want you to be Google's best friend, and you're turning up in results organically. And if that's starting to happen in the background, then you're really going to be in a good position to start paying for ads. So basically, your product is set up for success, and then it's going to be sellable, and then your site is set up for success. Then you can dive into ads,
Yeah.
paid ads.
I'm an operations coach, right? So it's, how do you set up programs? How do you set up processes? I specialize specifically in leadership and organizational development, but one of the pieces of advice on this subject that I always give entrepreneurs is make sure you're ready for your client to say yes, right? Because there
Yes.
is nothing worse than finding out, oh, $1,500 into paid ads, and operationally I can't meet the needs of the client because of some technical or operational thing that I didn't think of when all the main things I was doing manually that I now no longer have time to do, or processes that weren't smooth, and you're constantly stopping to readjust or make sure before you cross that threshold into paid ads, which hypothetically should increase your business. Otherwise, why do them?
Right.
That
Yeah,
you
you
are
want that.
but that you're operationally ready to accomplish that. Now, you mentioned
Exactly.
you mentioned optimizing SEO
Yes.
and having things going in the background. But for somebody who is a novice at best in what SEO is and what SEO means, what are the things that I should do? You said do things to increase your SEO, but what are those things?
Oh, there's a lot of things, Chris.
Uh,
There's
let's keep it
lots of
short and
things.
sweet. Yeah.
Cliff's Notes. Okay. Let's
Most
make
version.
sure Cliff's Notes version. Yeah, let's do this. So let's make sure that you are primed up with keywords. So do some keyword research. There are tons of experts out there that can do that for you, aka my team. Um, we- shameless there. So
Oh, yeah.
we can do some keyword research, and then we really prime up your website. Make sure that those are in the best strategic places possible. Like your headlines are on point. It's so clear when someone lands on your website what you do immediately, like before they even start scrolling, because the attention span is so quick these days, right? So if we have it when you're boom, land on your website, you'll be gold. Then we go on the back end of things and we make sure all the links aren't broken, which if you think there aren't links broken on your website, we know that there are. Um, we set up meta tags, etc. But for the person who's just like wants to do it on their own, start out with the keyword research and then also update content regularly. I'd say, let's say you have someone writing blog posts, even if you're a dental office or something that might not think they need blog posts. But if you have one a week updated, like, so let's say 4 blog posts a month that has to do with your keywords, you're going to rank exponentially better on Google. So start with content creation updates weekly, and then and be strategic about it. You don't want to write about something that doesn't make sense for what you want to sell. Make sure it looks like it fits in.
So you mentioned links being bad. Um, so I have my basic website, right, uh, which I don't manage myself. But what does it mean to have a bad link, right? Because I put my blog articles on.
Mhm.
I refer folks from LinkedIn and Facebook to my website. To my knowledge, there's not a whole lot of links there. So how do and how do links break? I mean, it's not like it's you walk by and knock it off. How do links break and why?
I know, right? So it gets it's funny how that works. You basically have like, make sure your URLs like, slash, um, blog or slash services page. What if you had that be like slash hire the best consultant, or, it's your domain name that's unique to you and your website, but you have the
Hmm.
slash, and then you have a strategically written out link. Now, usually you wouldn't set that up on your own. You're just like, I just need like the, this.com/blog/services. Let's just like cut it short. But if you add some strategy behind that, you're already steps ahead, right? And then broken links can be things like, behind the scenes, maybe it's not like a secure link, and just things happen throughout the process that can get messy, and you just want to make sure that everything is optimized perfectly by an expert. So it's a
I
whole process.
agree.
But you're on a good track though. You already have the blog post rolling. A lot of people don't do that. So
Well, I will tell you, I can take none of the credit for that. I have I have a company that the company that built my site also maintains it. I do the
mhm,
content,
mhm,
but they maintain it. And for me, it is about the content, right? Because I don't necessarily want to spend my time checking for broken links, and I want to spend my time talking to people, right? And
mhm,
so I think that is the advantage of hiring a company or a vendor to do that.
mhm,
And in my philosophy, and we have to take a quick commercial break here,
mhm,
is it's true, it does cost money to have someone manage your website and make sure do all that
mhm.
optimization, manage those links like you just discussed. But you miss one client because you get a bad return on your website, or you miss one client because they can't find what they need uh, uh, on your website. You've just given away the money that it cost to have all that managed
Right.
for you. I
Right.
have a long lead high end business,
Mhm,
and so every client that hits my website is important,
mhm.
and so I need to capture them. So if I lose those simply because my website isn't working, that's really bad for business. So
Yeah.
on the other side, I would like to talk about uh, some of the tools that uh, you recommend entrepreneurs use, small businesses use uh, to uh, uh, to kind of help them manage their business. I was on your website, which is a beautiful website, by the way.
Thank
You
you.
and you list some of those tools. So I'd like for you to talk about why those are important, and what they can do for entrepreneurs. So we'll be
Sure.
right back after a quick commercial break.
Can't wait. If you're an entrepreneur looking for a community of like minded go getters, I have an invitation for you. I may be a little biased here, but the Curate Your Success Insider Entrepreneur community is where it's at, and I would love for you to be a part of it. When I first took the leap into entrepreneurship, I was looking for a community too. That's why I created a space for entrepreneurs to be able to network, trade advice, and to provide opportunities for collaborations and business promo. Plus, you'll have access to my podcast insider exclusives. Did I mention it's free? Just go to blairebrown.com/group to join in on the fun. I can't wait to see you inside.
All right, welcome back to the Fusion Hub, everyone. Again, where what we do here at the Fusion Hub is we mix up business, culture, and community all in one ugly mashup, and then we string it out so that it all makes sense for us. We are super excited that Blaire Brown has decided to stay with us for the remainder of the show, and so you know.
You convinced me.
It was a hard sell. For those of you who can't see, I had thumb screws out. We were talking cash incentives, all those things, but she decided to stay for the
Mhm.
remainder of the show, and we're so happy that she did so. Now, Blaire, when we left, we were talking about entrepreneurs and some of the tools that are, available to entrepreneurs. Some of them are have a free trial version. Some of them have a paid version. But one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this a little bit is, as an entrepreneur, you almost never want to recreate the wheel, right?
Yeah.
You have your product or your service that you need to be cutting edge on and be up to date on. But a lot of these management tools and these these solicitation tools. You don't need to recreate the wheel on those.
No.
So, you're an expert on this stuff. So, kind of walk us through some of the tools that you think are incredibly important for entrepreneurs.
Right, absolutely. I think as an entrepreneur, the biggest thing that you're trying to save outside of money is your time. And if you
Mm.
can use the right tools to save yourself time, that is going to be a game changer for everything you do, everything you put your hands on. So I am I have several tools that I use, and I've vetted these out through all these different entrepreneur communities that I'm a part of, because my whole job is I work with business owners and entrepreneurs. So I'm constantly in these groups finding the best tools possible, because we're all leaning on each other for that. Now, some of them that I would just off the bat say I recommend are email software. Definitely automate your emails. If you can have an email send out for you while you're asleep, do it. Okay, let's automate that, right? Because you don't have to hit send on every single thing. Other tools would be like social media scheduling tools, um, calendar tools, so that way you cut out the 20 emails back and forth, or what time works for you? Put 3 dates in an email. Let me know. How about you send a calendar link and it's done? It's like so much easier. Um, so I definitely recommend automating as much as you can and just simplifying your life in that way. Just have it streamlined. And I have all those resources on my website as well. And another tool that I recommend and that I used whenever I first started out as well is just buying courses, if that's something that and being a part of programs of like-minded people that are going to help you build out this dream that you have. Because as an entrepreneur, you have this vision, right? Nobody else can necessarily see this vision except you, because you haven't built it yet. You're in that process. And that's hard when you're the entrepreneur of your friend group or family. Maybe you're the only one. I'm lucky because my whole family is entrepreneurs. It's very rare. But even in friends, you gotta surround yourself with those people. So if you join a course or a community, some sort of program that has like-minded people to support you, I think that's going to really bring major success for you and give you that motivation and drive and positivity to move forward. So those are the things I would recommend for sure.
Yeah, for people who don't know, my consulting business, Perfusion Consulting, we give all of our profits away to community organizations in Richmond
Amazing.
that combat food insecurity, create education opportunities, so scholarships and funding for education opportunities, and then criminal and social justice reform. And I say that just to lead up to this. When I first introduced the idea that I was, one, going to start a small business, and then two, that I was going to give it all away, you would not believe some of the looks that I got from people around me. So I kind of said, well, the traditional business folks probably aren't going to be down with this, right? They're not really
Right.
going to understand why do I give all of my profits away. So I went and I searched for community, just as you suggested,
Mhm.
and people that understood how important it is for businesses to engage with the community, and those are the people that, especially early on, I leaned on heavily to make introductions and to give me tips and tricks, and
Mhm.
I convinced a couple people to give me free courses and those kind of things. But so I take your point that joining a community or being involved in a community and getting education for yourself via courses and those kind of things are hugely important. Not only are you going to sleep better at night because you feel
Yes.
supported, but it's going to save you time and money. And
Right.
as an entrepreneur, time is almost never your friend, right?
No, it's really
There's not
not.
enough time in the day. There's too many things to do. And I hate to use the word shortcut, but that's almost what it is. You build a community of experienced people around you, and then you get relevant education, continuous learning, and it is kind of a business shortcut. you save a
It
lot of time
is
and
for
money.
sure.
And
Yeah, and like, why not take a shortcut if you can?
yeah, so I've noticed on your beautiful website,
Thank you.
blairebrown.com, that you actually offer a course for entrepreneurs.
I do, and I'm really excited because we're even building more onto it right now. We're going to teach a huge community of entrepreneurs how to create and curate their own business. What I found is that so many people are going into entrepreneurship right now, but they don't know where to start, and that can be a crippling effect at first because you think, "Oh, I have these big dreams and aspirations, but I don't even know where to start. I don't have anybody to help me." But what if you did have somebody to help you? What if you did have these shortcuts? And I don't mean shortcuts in a way that would, reduce quality by any means. It's just telling you, hey, this is what you need to do. It's like a blueprint. This is here
Hmm.
you go, step by step. So in our blueprint, you have the three main segments, which is make your business official. Like, let's get all that official business out of the way, right? Let's get you real. It's this dream's really starting to happen. Then let's learn how to brand and market yourself because oftentimes people might have this business idea, but they have no idea how to brand and market themselves. And how do you get your business out there if people don't know who you are and what awesome things you're doing?
Hmm.
So we help people with that in the second segment. And then in the third one, we're going to help you with all the operations set up. So learn how to hire your team, set up all of those exciting automation things so that way your life is easier. And we've vetted out all these tools ourselves, and I can assure you they are great because I have this is my third business. I've run two other ones before, and I'm basically taking out that learning curve for you, and you can learn it in this course. And it's also there'll be group calls. It's a whole setup to make business owners successful whenever they're starting out. So I'm really excited about it. But all these free resources I keep talking about and the course is also available at blairebrown.com/, marketing dash resources. So if you just go to blairebrown.com, you'll find all the free resources and information on that. And I also have a Facebook community as well. So if you're looking for that kind of community of entrepreneurs and business owners, sign up for that. It's a free resource and it's just full of people that want to help you with this advice and excited to lean on this with each other. It's a really cool community.
Yeah, I belong to a few Facebook communities, and every one of them are worth the time that I've invested. Um,
Mhm.
I will say, for those that are listening, and for young entrepreneurs out there, not all advice is good advice. And and so when
True.
you're in
Very
when
true.
you're in these community Facebook groups, or even live community discussions, listen to the input, because for that person that is giving you that advice, it's probably true.
Mhm.
And but we still have to take that and push it through our lens on what is our marketing plan, what is our product, how does our product differ from the person that I'm getting the advice from, right? And
Mhm.
so I think that is probably the value of having a branding coach or marketing coach like yourself, because you are constantly receiving advice from people who mean well, but
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't necessarily fit what you're trying to do. And so
Mhm.
having that coach to bounce that off of, I have two coaches almost all the time. For that reason, is there's no shortage of free advice, but having
That's
a
true.
but having a coach to kind of kick that around, and really help you uh, drill down on what is important to your business, and how would that advice impact your business, is super important. So yeah, if you are not in an entrepreneur group, Blaire, what's the name of your Facebook group?
Sure, it's a successful small business and entrepreneur community.
Okay. And
So,
I'm a
and like I said, if you just go to my website, blairebrown.com, there's links there that you can just easily sign up.
oh, so you're just making it easy for everyone. No work,
Yeah, just make it
no
easy, no
no hard
work.
no hard work to join the community.
Yeah, the only hard thing is just remember my name has an E on the end, so it's Blaire with an E, brown.com.
Oh, yeah.
That's all.
Other Otherwise, you're going to end up with something maybe not what you're looking for if you don't
Yeah,
include that E.
include the E, sign up for that, go download all the resources that are free. Why not? It's there for you. And, my heart and passion is in helping entrepreneurs succeed and get off the ground because I am an entrepreneur and I've done it and I've made the mistakes. I figured it out. You don't have to make those mistakes, you know?
So you had mentioned something earlier about doing cohorts
Mhm,
or developing cohorts for business owners that have um, questions that need help that want to work through a course with a group of people that then become lifelong business partners with them, not in a
mhm,
real financial sense, but then become their own type of support system.
mhm.
So, can you tell us a little bit? I know that's upcoming for you, but tell us a little bit about your vision for this cohort training.
Yeah, so it's still in the works as we had mentioned, but it's basically the idea is that if you have access, let's say you're going through this course right now and you hit like a little speed bump and you're just want to have an expert's advice, feedback, somebody that, your family might always be and friends might always be cheering you on and be like, yeah, everything you touch is great, right? But if you have an expert who's able to go in there and give you real feedback, but also not just that, but how can we problem solve this and make it successful? It's always helpful to have an outsider's view on things. So by having a course that walks you through and simplifies the process, but then in the moments that you do, maybe you're lacking a little bit of confidence or you just need a little extra help, if you show up to a group call, it makes a big difference to be able to ask that person on Zoom, hey, this is where I'm a little bit stuck. And then you have a little extra help there. I think that's really
Well,
important.
yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've laid in bed at night going, is this the right thing to do? Is this the wrong thing to do?
We all
Is
have,
this
yeah.
is this going to destroy my reputation and my business, or is this going to be helpful?
Yeah.
And it's always comforting to have somebody with a little bit of experience to ask.
Yeah.
And more often than not, what I find is what an experienced person like yourself, the benefit is it adds clarity, right? Because it's always about purpose. Well, you're thinking about doing this thing. Why is that important? And how does that either enhance or detract from your brand? And if a lot of things that I come across do not serve a purpose inside my brand, there are things
Mhm.
that I could do that probably wouldn't be detrimental to me, but they don't serve the purpose.
Mhm.
And so they're just extra, right?
Mhm.
They're not bad, but they're not really good for my purpose either. And I think that is the value of having a brand coach
Mhm.
is this thing that you're thinking about doing or this course that you're thinking about offering, does that help or hurt your brand, and does it serve your purpose? And
Mhm.
so I think that is the value of having a service like yours. One, it saves you time and money, but two, it protects your brand
Right.
because you only have uh, you know your brand is all you have really.
Mhm.
Your products and services, of course, are important, but people need to be able to trust you or want to trust you, and they're check. They're not going to
Mhm.
give you money if they can't trust you, which is your brand.
Mhm.
And so,
Exactly.
if you were to give, and I know you do this today, so I'm going to ask a kind of a redundant question here. If you were going to give a new entrepreneur advice on what are some things that we should be looking to do uh, to build our brand and protect our brand.
I think the biggest thing here is just authenticity. Like you said, knowing your purpose and the why behind your business, I think that is so huge, especially in today's consumer audience. Like the consumers today can spot a fake a mile away. So if you are real, you're who you are as a brand, and you are constantly portraying that realness and keeping it in touch with your purpose, authenticity is what's gonna, bring you to the top, because you'll feel confident about it as an entrepreneur and business owner. You're you really believe in it because it's real. And if you believe in it, it's just gonna drive that passion further, and you have to have that passion behind your business if you're starting one, because you're gonna hit all these curveballs all the time, right? I know you've probably hit them
Yep,
too. I
absolutely.
definitely
And
have.
and I've been
It's just
hit by
part of
a
it.
couple also. Yeah.
Same. And so there's no shortage of curveballs. And so to have that passion intact and drive is going to be critical for you to continue moving forward. So that way, the next, speed bump that you hit, you're not going to go flying. Instead, you'll be like, it's fine. There's a reason why this happened. Maybe I just need to learn from it. And it's just the positive thinking. So, really, I would just say authenticity is going to be critical whenever you're thinking about everything your brand does visually and also your brand message. So, whenever you're talking to your customers through advertisements, social media marketing, your website presence, all these things add up to make your brand. And if it's authentic through and through, it's true to your why and your purpose, you're going to be good to go. That's the best
Yeah,
starting point.
that's great advice. One of the challenges that I see entrepreneurs face is this idea that you have two lives. You have this business life, right? That you have this brand that you're building. You're authentic. You believe in it.
Right.
But then maybe you have your personal social media, or social media of people around you, which you can't necessarily control. But you can't say that, like my brand, right? I'm a do-gooder, right? I donate all my profits to charity, and I
Amazing.
care about the humans that live in my community. But then
Hmm.
I can't go work for somebody that is polluting the ground, or
Right.
poisoning our bodies, right? So if it was discovered or became public that I had done work inside of, a vape manufacturer, or cigarette manufacturer, then that hurts my brand,
Hmm.
right? So there's things that understanding my own brand means there's things I can do, but there's also things that I cannot do,
Right.
and that helps develop your target audience. So we are winding down, and I
Okay.
have given you the heads up about the last question I ask every guest, even the great ones like you. Uh, s- I still ask them to answer the question, because my business is all about the future, right? We support
Mhm.
combating food scarcity, creating education opportunities, and balancing the criminal and social justice scales.
Incredible.
And that is all future looking, right? Not
Hmm.
past, not behind us.
Hmm.
What is our world going to look like in the future? And that's why
Hmm.
we do what we do. So, uh, what is your hope for the future, and what gives you hope?
What gives me hope right now is this huge movement that is called, community over competition. And I love everything about it, because I would say that, 10 years ago, um, over 10 years ago now, actually, when I was first starting in college, I was going to fashion school. And when I first moved to New York, people were like, oh, aren't you worried about all these people? Like, it's going to be really catty and competitive and all that, it has that rep. But I found the opposite. I found that it was actually way more collaborative than I had ever imagined. And now there's this newfound movement where before I think that, the media and just the world in general was kind of like, oh, yeah, like competition, just go after that person, this and that. But now I think with the mindset of, hey, if we work together and we collaborate and we care about the community and what we're putting out there as a whole, we focus on that, that was way better than focusing on something like competition, because at the end of the day, everybody is going to win if you're looking at community and collaborating with people for the good of others. And to me, that is so powerful. And I've witnessed it across the entrepreneur and small business owner community, that there's nothing truer than that. I've seen amazing works come out of it. And so to me, that's what gives me hope, is that movement. And I'm excited to just see it blow up and continue to grow in that direction.
Yeah, it is um, heartening to see people actually turn back towards community
Hmm.
and away from competition.
Hmm.
And you're right. I think it is, as we're able through the power of social media, right? It's two
Right.
words for a reason: social and media. If we lean on the social piece and we support
Hmm.
each other and the people around us more, it changes our world for the better. And
Hmm.
so that is my mission. It sounds like you are a partner in that mission, and I appreciate that so much for everything that you are doing, but more importantly, for the
Thank
things
you.
you are going to do.
Hey, I'm here for
Bring your
it.
time, treasure, and talent to the future, and we collectively we'll make all this happen. Well, that is our time for today. I appreciate everyone listening. Blaire, you have just been fantastic. Blaire with an E,
Thank you. That's me.
blairebrown.com. And for the listeners, we will talk to you next Thursday morning at 6 a.m. right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into the Curate Your Success podcast today. I am so excited that we got to spend time together. Want more? Hop on over to curateyoursuccesspodcast.com for show notes, all the links mentioned, and discount codes from today's episode. And if you love today's episode, like, subscribe, share it with a friend. I'd be so grateful. Until next time, keep making moves to curate your success.